So Jesus is a descendant of David, and the genealogy is listed in the beginning of Matthew, and I believe Luke as well. In the beginning of Luke. Yeah. Chapter 3 of Luke. And in the temple, when he's preaching, the Pharisees, he asks the Pharisees whose son is the Messiah, whose son is the Christ, and the Pharisees answer, David. He's a descendant of David, which Jesus is, as Matthew writes and Luke in the genealogy. And then Jesus says in Matthew chapter 22, verse 43, I believe. 43. He said to them, "How is it then that David, speaking by the Spirit, calls him, the Messiah, the Christ, Lord? For he says, the Lord said to my Lord, sit at my right hand until I put your enemies under your feet. If then David calls him Lord, how can he be his son?" No one could say a word in reply, and from that day on, no one dared to ask him any more questions. Right? Jesus is a descendant of David, but he is also God. More importantly, he is God. And David calls him Lord. The God that was speaking to David, God speaking to David, was Jesus. So David called him Lord, because Jesus is God, revealed in the flesh, in the body of Jesus Christ, as Messiah, the anointed one, the Christ. And David calls him Lord. But how can David call his son his Lord? Isn't the fleshly father always the head of the fleshly son, or grandson, or great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson? Because Jesus is God. So David calls him Lord. And that's what he's describing here in the temple. It's in Matthew 22, verse 41 through 45. It's a short one.